It's super bright outside. Oh my God. And it's hot. It's all sweat. It's all sweat in here. Oh wow. Hey guys, it's Rachel, content creator for international students, back at it again with another video on 1+1 programs. I'll be going over what it is, share the general process of applying to one, even share some reasons as to why you may prefer this option, and also note down some things to be aware of should you consider this route. So I guess let's jump right into it. Okay, first off, what is it? Well, essentially, 1+1 programs entail taking two separate programs back to back. So you go about applying and hopefully obtaining a letter of acceptance or LOA from a designated learning institution, and later on study another program from the same or different school. So why do some students do the 1+1 program? Off the bat, immigration-wise, students do this to maximize the length of their postgraduate work permit. As a recap, a PGWP allows graduates to work in Canada for up to 3 years. But your PGWP length is dependent on several factors, one of which is the length of your chosen program. For example, in my previous video, I've mentioned that I took a 1-year program and was later on granted a 1-year PGWP. I've even outlined the reasons as to why that was risky for my PR, which you can find here. As such, the majority of students prefer to take a 2-year program, as that may give them a PGWP length for up to 3 years, and that includes some 1+1 programs. We could dive into the nitty-gritty of details about the PGWP length, but I'd rather just show you through the IRCC website, which is currently projected on your screen. Now, there are other reasons why students consider a 1+1 program, and I'll name four other reasons why. 1, maybe you'd like to diversify your knowledge in 2 different specialized areas, giving you a more competitive advantage in the job market. 2nd, this may be a good option for students who may not afford a 2-year program upfront. So as a strategy, they go for a 1-year program and simultaneously save funds in order to apply for the 2nd program if needed. 3rd reason is scarcity issues, as there are less 2-year programs, specifically 2-year post-degree diploma programs, in comparison to 1-year programs offered by Canadian colleges and universities. As such, the next best thing for students that don't get into their chosen 2-year program is to apply for 1+1 programs. And it's not to say that 1+1 programs are less favorable, but there's just a lot of steps involved, which I'll touch on in just a bit. Finally, the 4th reason is using this as a strategy to gain work experience in Canada. So there's a period after your first program ends and before your 2nd program begins called the gap period. During the gap period, assuming you've met all these other requirements projected, you may essentially work full-time, yes, full-time, while you wait for your 2nd program to start. Just make sure you can work off campus, received a letter confirming program completion, have a valid study permit or submitted a new one before the current one expires, and that you also have your 2nd letter of acceptance within 150 days of getting that letter of program completion. I know it's a mouthful, but don't worry, I've made sure I got all the receipts, which you can find in the description box below. Going back, this could be good for you since you are making the most out of your time by building your skill sets, expanding your network, which makes you more attractive for Canadian employers that do appreciate students with in-Canada work experience. By the way, if you are finding this helpful or useful, it would really mean a lot to me if you could subscribe to my channel for more videos like this. So the next question that you may have is, how do you apply for 1+1 programs? There are actually 2 ways that you can go about it. First, we have bundled courses, which is applying for 2 programs packaged as one. There are some schools such as Seneca College, Centennial College, Vancouver Community College that offer bundled courses which students can pursue. For example, if you are a business management student that wants to take up accounting at some point, then you can consider looking at bundled programs. Bundled courses generally have an easier application process with a one-time application fee. And assuming that you meet the eligibility requirements for both programs, you will receive a combined letter of acceptance, which you can use to apply for one study permit to cover the full duration of your studies in Canada. Now, the other one is the manual process. Essentially, this means a student applies initially for a one-year program before doing another one-year program. But take note, applying the manual way is a two-step process. It involves getting a letter of acceptance from your first program, applying for a study permit and eventually get approved, and then flying to Canada to commence the first year of studies. Midway through, you need to apply for your second program. So you meet the eligibility requirements again and obtain an LOA. Then on the immigration side of things, you need to apply for a study permit extension and hopefully get approved for that as well. So as you probably noticed, there are so many steps involved, which is why some students prefer to take a two-year program instead. Now, to cap it off, here are some things that you need to consider if you are planning to take a 1+1 program. First, timing is key, especially if you're applying via the manual way. So let's say you applied for 1 year of studies and you plan on taking the second program or applying for a second program in Canada. You have to make sure that the second program you're eyeing for is even available for intake. And to add a little bit of pressure, if the program you like is popular or in demand, it's going to be more competitive or the seats are going to fill up fast, so you need to ensure that you're on top of your game as well. This may be hard to juggle, especially if you are studying full-time and maybe even working part-time, so just be aware of your time. Speaking of, also be aware that life may have other plans for you. Knocking on wood here, but let's say you got delayed for some reason, like you took an academic break or you had to retake some of your classes. In any of these cases, this will cause a domino effect on your timelines when applying for the second program. And if you're wondering why, well, it's because you already have a study permit with a set expiry date. So to go into applying for the second program, there's that additional headache of applying for a study permit extension as well. So as you can see, even as I'm explaining it, it's already getting a little bit complicated, which is why I'd understand if this is not everyone's cup of tea. Finally, you have to be on top of your game at all times. I'm pretty sure that you're going to do just fine, but as a friendly reminder, make sure to be punctual, complete your assignments, pass your classes, be aware of your timelines, and have a plan of attack. This way you can graduate from both programs and reach your milestones, especially if you have long-term goals in Canada. All right, so that was a mouthful, but hopefully that was helpful. Will you still opt for the 1+1 program after this? Let us know by commenting down below. It may appear daunting, but it's not to say that you shouldn't apply. It's just a bit more tedious with all the steps involved, but I mean, if you can do it, why not? Or if you do need someone to help you, we could be that person for you if you want. Like, no pressure. Anyway, that's it. That's all I have for today. For more videos like this or other international student-related content, be sure to like this video and subscribe. Again, thank you so much for watching. Be safe and be kind. And as always, I'll see you in the next video. Cheers.